Hello everyone! In this video, I'll show you how I made the chainmail for an artwork I'm currently working on. Let's get into it. First, we make a base mesh for the chainmail, right where we want it to sit. I'm working on the right arm, so I mask out the area I want the chainmail to cover. Once it's masked, I extract it into a new mesh. Then, I select the polygroups I don't need and hit Delete Hidden to clean them away. Next, I inflate the mesh slightly, so the chainmail floats just above the arm instead of sticking to it. With the Move brush, I push it into a more natural position. Then I hit ZRemesher. Topology really matters here. We need to avoid bad corners and triangles because every chain will sit on top of a single quad, so the mesh has to be low poly with clean, even topology. I use the Easy Remesh plugin to cut the poly count in half. That's looking perfect. To refine it further, I add a few more edge loops and slide the existing ones so there are no oversized quads. Now we jump into Blender to build one repeatable piece of chainmail. I got the idea for this piece from RenderHub 3D. First, add a torus. Set the radius to 0.1 meters. Then rotate it 15 degrees on the x-axis. Press Ctrl-A and apply the rotation to clear its rotation history. Now add an empty. Move it to 1.1 meters on x and 1.1 meters on y. Then rotate it -30 degrees on the x-axis. Add an array modifier to the torus. Turn off relative offset, turn on object offset, and select the empty. Add a second array modifier and set its x factor to 2/3. Add a third array modifier and set its y factor to 2/3. Already it's starting to look like chainmail. Now add a cube. Scale it to 2.2 meters and place it at 1.1 meters on both x and y, like before. Add a subdivision modifier and set it to simple. Then add a boolean modifier to the chainmail. Set it to intersect, keep it on exact, and turn on self-intersection and hole tolerant. Choose the cube as the object. To apply everything at once, press Ctrl-A and pick Visual Geometry to mesh. Center the piece and delete the leftover bits around the intersection. Now it's ready to go back to ZBrush. Back in ZBrush, make sure the floor is enabled on the Z-axis and set the grid size to 1. Then, unify the mesh so it fills the whole floor. This step is what gives us a seamless tiling result. I want some variation in the weave, so I duplicate the piece and use the Move brush to create small differences. When it's ready, save it into the MicroPoly folder, wherever ZBrush is installed on your computer. And here's the fun part. Enable dynamic subdivision. Then turn on MicroPoly to apply our chainmail. By default, ZBrush comes with a few chainmail pieces and plenty of others to choose from. For this project, I'm using the one I just made. As soon as it's applied, you can already see the effect. Now it's about playing with the settings until it looks right. Make sure Weld is turned on so all the pieces connect to each other. Here's a useful thing to know. If you subdivide the mesh, ZBrush automatically doubles the number of chains, so they become smaller. I use the Move and Cloth brushes to deform the base mesh into something more natural. I add some cloth folds for a more natural drape. Take your time here. It's worth getting the shape right before you apply the dynamic subdivision. Once I'm happy, I apply it, polish it a little, then set Inflate to 1. Now it's looking good enough to move on. Here I keep moving and deforming it to refine the flow. With the Move topology brush, I add small imperfections to the position of the chains for a bit more variation. Then I click Auto Groups so every chain gets its own polygroup. That lets me delete the chains I don't want, like the ones overlapping the mushrooms and the knife. I thought some noise would help, so under the Surface tab, I use Noise for a more realistic look. You can drag the curve to add little damages across the chains. Click OK and apply. It looks good, but I felt a second layer of chainmail, using one of the default pieces, would make it richer and more complete. So I go through the same process again and finalize the overall look of the Knight's chainmail. And that's it! I hope this video helped and that you learned something new. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing. And let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. See you in the next one!